Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon from North Macedonia. This is Kazi Altaf again with Stories Without Borders, Episode 5. Today we have Jack Molitor, a Peace Corps volunteer and NGO advisor from North Macedonia. Welcome to the show, Jack.
Hello, thank you. It's good to be here. Finally.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you for your time, Jack. Jack, if you can kindly briefly introduce yourself to us.
Sure. My name is Jack Molitor. I am a Peace Corps volunteer from New York. I'm here in the beautiful city of Bitola with my good friend and partner Altaf. We've done a lot of work together, a lot of different projects, mostly in youth development and some environmental things as well. I am a passionate musician. I make music. I listen to a lot of music. I talk about it a lot, as anyone who knows me will know. I like films. I like hiking. I like nature, and I love to travel, which is, I guess, why I'm here in this beautiful country for the last 2 years. And I'm excited to see what comes next for me after this.
Wonderful. So, Jack, can you kindly inform us also your journey? You grew up in New York, right?
That's correct, yes.
And your education was also in New York,
Yep, public schools.
public
Now, I
school.
should clarify, I did not grow up in New York City, but I grew up in the suburbs of New York, you know.
Can you inform us how was your journey, as you grew up in New York, in the suburbs, as you said, your education. What was your journey as you grow up?
My journey was pretty simple, I think, relatively, my childhood. I grew up in the suburbs to an upper middle class family, I would say. My parents are still together. They're still living in the same house that I grew up in. I've basically only lived in one house my entire life until I came here, I guess, um, and university as well. I have one sister who's older than me. She's still in New York as well. But it was I don't know, it was a typical New York suburban childhood, I guess. I played baseball on the weekends and I went to school every day and had barbecues in the summer and it was pretty standard, I think. It was a um pretty standard growing up, I
In
guess,
New York. It's
in
pretty
New York.
standard suburban life.
Yes.
And where did you complete your education, your bachelor's?
I went to the University of Connecticut,
Hmm.
and I got a bachelor's degree in communications. Now, I initially went to UConn
Hmm.
and to study finance. And I did that for a year. I did it for freshman year. And after a year of doing it, I realized that's not what I wanted to do at
Hmm.
all.
Hmm.
All through high school, I envisioned myself as to become this finance, stock market, Wall Street bro. I
Hmm.
wanted to be a stockbroker. I wanted to trade. I wanted to invest.
Hmm.
And then I went and I started learning that for a year, and I realized that that just wasn't the life for me. What I thought I wanted turned out to be not actually what I wanted.
Hmm.
And as a result of that, kind of a long way down the road, I've ended up here. And I think I'm much happier here in my little apartment in Macedonia
Hmm.
versus if I was, sitting working 80 hours a week in Wall Street or something.
So you mentioned that you changed your track from finance to communications, right?
Hello?
Yes, Jack. Can you hear me? Apologize, folks. We had a slight technical issue. That's why we had to delay. So, Jack, last we left off was you changing your track, your education track.
That's right.
Why, why did you, why did you feel that you had to change it? And you were in communications, right? You knew.
Yes, I changed from finance to communications.
So from finance to communication, what attracted you to communications?
Well, I would say mostly I wasn't, when I was younger, um, maybe I wasn't the most social person, the most outgoing person. I found it difficult to talk to people at certain points. Things like public speaking was a big issue for me.
Hmm.
And, as simple as it sounds, I just wanted to learn how to communicate better, how to talk better and everything.
Yeah.
Um, and I also figured because I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life yet, communications is such a broad topic
Hmm.
that you can kind of take it anywhere. It'll be useful no matter what you decide to do. So it just seemed like a good fit for me. Um, and I think, I mean, you know me. I think it's worked off pretty well. I think I'm much better at communicating than I used to be. And so yeah, I switched to comm and
Hmm.
I focused on social media and mass media in within my communications major because number one, I was interested in that. I was interested in how media, I guess, makes people think and how it can shift people's opinions, their beliefs, their perspectives. So I was fascinated by that.
Hmm.
And the social media, kind of more of a micro scale of that, where social media is so obviously influential in everyday life for everyone. And so I wanted to learn more about how it worked and how it made people think and how they act on those social media platforms.
Hmm. Yeah, I do agree. In terms of social media, a lot of us, this is the age of social media and AI,
Yeah.
and
And
we can.
I've
Mhm.
done a lot of social media work now in my career path, I guess. I've done a lot
So it
both
aligned
here,
properly.
yeah, it aligned both here. I've been doing it a lot and my previous job before I came here.
Mm.
I was a social media manager at a marketing agency.
Mm. Awesome. So straight out of college, you jumped onto the Peace Corps.
I tried, yeah, I
Okay.
tried at least.
So
It took
when
a while to get here.
okay. So
Um,
why the Peace Corps and explain the journey thus far?
yeah, so why the Peace Corps? When I got out of college, like we said early on when I was young, I wanted to be some rich stockbroker guy. And obviously my opinions and my desires for what I would do with my life shifted a lot throughout my college experience based on the people I met, the friends I made, and just different opinions and perspectives I was opened up to while I was there. I studied abroad in Italy junior year of college, and that was really my first time leaving the United States, especially going to live kind of on my own, with other students, yeah, but on my own in a different country.
Mm.
And of course, I had an amazing experience there, and it made me hungry to travel more, to learn more about the world and meet different people and learn languages and do all these different things. So that semester abroad really kind of ignited this flame in me to continue doing that, to continue trying to find ways to live abroad. Um, and also towards the end of my college career, I started getting really more invested in volunteerism and civic duty and all these types of things. And so just it seemed like a perfect combination. I wanted to travel, I wanted to live differently at the same time. I was getting much more involved in volunteerism and helping people and just doing good. And Peace Corps just seemed like the right fit.
In Macedonia, you're in Macedonia, and
Yeah.
how would you explain your experience in Macedonia? What have you learned different from America, I would say, and how has it helped you thus far?
Actually, before we talk about the differences, um, I want to discuss some of the similarities, I think, first. The thing that you start to learn the more you travel to different countries and different cultures is that people aren't so different around the world, most of the time. It doesn't matter how you're raised, but everyone's just trying to get through the day. Everyone's trying to figure out their life, to spend time with their friends and family, to just enjoy it to the best of their abilities. And I think that's true for, you know, almost everyone. It's a universal thing.
Yeah,
Um, and so that's been really enlightening for me to see is that all this stuff we hear in the media and what's going on around the world, that's all macro stuff. It's all big picture. Yeah, it matters. It's important. But what matters to me the most is learning about life on a micro level, on a personal level, and seeing how people behave in their day-to-day activities and their jobs and their social relationships and activities. And so I think it's been really eye-opening for me to kind of realize that. It's something I feel like you kind of know, but until you're actually experiencing it firsthand, it doesn't really hit you until you're on the ground somewhere else and interacting with all these people and just learning that we're all just humans, we're all just trying to get by, and that's it.
and this experience that you have, how do you think it has changed you for the good? And as you look into the future, what can you take
Yeah.
out of this experience?
Oh man, so much. I don't even know where to start. Um, I would say the biggest change, the biggest takeaway I think I'll get from this entire 2 year experience is just that um it's worth it to try and have an impact on others, to have an impact on people you meet and try and be a positive force in people's lives. And I think I've really learned that lesson a lot here. I think I mentioned earlier that I work at a youth center here in Macedonia, and so I work with a lot of like high school age and young adults people, and I like to try and give guidance where I can. I'm a little bit older than most of the people I work with. I'm 26 now, and a lot of them are, you know, in their teens to early 20s, and I see a lot of myself in the youth that I work with. And I think me just being a little bit further ahead in life, basically, I try to be someone that I would want to have when I was their age, you know? I want someone there to provide me guidance, someone who understands my issues and my wants and needs and desires and problems and successes. I try and be to relate as much as I can and also provide guidance and support and step in when I'm needed. And I think I'd like to continue kind of that trend as as I get older and I go through life. I just want to be there for people. I want to be helping people however I can.
Mm. And how many more months left in your service right now?
I've got about 4 more months, which is terrifying.
So after this, definitely you are thinking of life ahead, you know,
Yes, yeah.
as an RPCV, returned Peace Corps volunteer, which can be, you gain a lot of experience, you take it back home to the States. What do you want to do with this experience and that you have lived somewhere else for more than two
hmm
years, 27 months?
Yeah.
It's a lot of things that you have gained, not only concrete or technical abilities, but also interpersonal skills that you mentioned.
Yeah.
What do you want to pursue after this?
So I'm still trying to figure that out. Um, I'm looking into a couple different options. I'm thinking about possibly going to pursuing graduate school for like international policy and geopolitics and stuff, which is something I've become also increasingly interested in over this past 2 years. Um, I've become much more aware of different perspectives. I think it's hard to find that when you're just in America your entire life or in whatever country you're from. Obviously, there's always going to be some kind of bubble. And so it's really interesting for me to come here and listen to what people have to say about my country, about America. And that's caused me to reevaluate certain things through a more critical lens, I think, and become much more engaged in international affairs and how the world is functioning and how countries interact with each other. Um, so I would like to continue on that path of this international work, and perhaps grad school would be a good option for that. In addition to that, I'm also aiming to take the Foreign Service Officer test when it's possible. Right now, it's frozen, and maybe seek a path to becoming a diplomat, a U.S. diplomat. But that's very challenging, and that's a long road ahead. So that's kind of more of like maybe a 5, 10 year plan type of thing to actually get where I want to be regarding that. Um, and kind of my third option is to continue doing NGO work like I'm doing now, preferably again in another country, but doing it in the US would be fine as well. I would be happy with that. So I'm kind of balancing all these different options and trying to figure out maybe they can all work, maybe somehow I can have all three. But right now I'm trying to figure out at least the most immediate and clear path once I finish my Peace Corps service.
No, I agree with you when you speak about international development, uh, geopolitics. Yes, it has always been my also attracting factor or attracting topic that I wanted to work on. But in here, I think as you, I would say, reinvented yourself from Macedonia,
Yeah.
it's the same story for me that I found out that there is a call that I have, and that I think we both can agree on that.
Yeah.
We have a call, and that is service to the world.
Yeah.
And what would you suggest to a young Jack
hmm
as you look back?
So just like life advice, or what do you
Life
mean?
advice, both as you the experience that you have. What would you say to your younger self that this is what needed to be done, this is what was done, this is what I have now?
Honestly, like I'm pretty happy with where I'm at in life right now. I'm happy with the path that I've chosen and
Hmm.
that I'm continuing to choose. I guess if I were to give him some advice, I would just tell him to be more courageous. Don't be afraid to do things, and also don't be afraid to say yes to things. Like,
Hmm.
don't be scared to do something out of your comfort zone, which obviously now it's easy because this entire experience is inherently doing something out of your comfort zone. Um, so in hindsight, of course, it's easy. But I would just tell him, it's all going to work out. So just whatever you want to do, just go for it. Don't hold back.
Don't hold back. Be
Yeah,
persistent and push forward.
exactly.
And the world is globalized, and the youth around the world, they have access to so much information.
Yep.
Now we are working in global development and community work on community development. If you see a youth who wants to be involved in community development, who wants to be in social work for people,
Hmm.
working for the people in simple
Yeah.
language, how would you suggest them? First, there are two answers I would request from you. One, an American. How would you speak to an American about the Peace Corps? And I would say not, yeah, I would say motivate them to join the Peace
Hmm.
Corps or similar services
Yeah.
and to the global youth.
I mean, I think now when it comes to joining the Peace Corps, like if I had a friend or someone close to me that was interested or thinking about it or just wanted to learn more, obviously I'm in contact with my friends and my family from back home, and they all know how much I love it here and how much I've loved this experience. And so I don't think I would have to sell them. I'm thinking more of, say, if I meet someone new once I get back to the States and somehow, we end up having a conversation like, oh, what are you doing? What do you want to do? And they don't really know. Like I would suggest Peace Corps to anyone kind of in that position. Um, because it's just going to change you for the better. It's going to change the way you think. It's going to change the way you feel, the way you act. It's going to make you more courageous and more outgoing and more adaptable to difficult situations. Like you just pick up so many skills doing something like this by coming to a foreign country and working here, and you don't speak the language and you have to kind of stumble your way through it for the first few months, and then eventually the way I see it, like going back to the comfort zone, right? When we came here at first, it was out of our comfort zone. Um, but now we've been here for so long. I'm sitting here in my apartment. I just got home from work. And this is my comfort zone now. I'm not uncomfortable to be here. This is just life now. And so, whereas my comfort zone used to be maybe this big, then slowly, it starts getting bigger. And all of a sudden, this is the comfort zone, and then this. And all along the way, while you're kind of pushing to increase that comfort zone, you're just learning so much about yourself, about the world around you. Um, and I think that's beautiful. I think everyone's goal should be to increase the size of their comfort zone because that means to get to that point where it's, massive, it means you've had to take a lot of steps and probably make a lot of difficult decisions to get to that point.
Mm,
And life's not easy. It's tough to make hard decisions and to know what the right answer is all the time. But the
mm,
only way you can do it is to push yourself a little bit and to get out of that comfort zone and keep going and keep learning and keep doing.
mm. Would you say that to the global youth also around the world?
Yeah, to everyone. I mean, we are the generation now that's going to start that has the ability to make real impact in this world, in our countries. It's our time. It's our time to shine. You know, the old folks, they're going out, and we're growing up really as the first generation with access to all of collective human knowledge that's ever existed in the,
Mm,
on the tips of our fingers. We're the
mm.
first ones to have this with us at all times.
Yes.
And I think that totally changes the way our generation thinks compared to
Mm,
older generations. And I think our generations and younger are going to be passionate to make changes in this world and to have good impact. And so the time is now. It's us, man. It's up to us to start making changes.
perfect. I love that. Love the way you actually articulated that in a very, very simplistic way also.
Yeah.
Uh, the other question would be you're working with community development, part of a global community, I would say global citizen
Mm,
right now.
yeah.
And as a global citizen, you have traveled in the Balkans, throughout the Balkans. Previously,
Yeah.
you've also traveled around the world. And after you're gaining work experience.
Yep.
What do you think is needed, both on the organizational community level, but also organizational level, from an NGO perspective and also from a community perspective? What should be worked on right now?
Do you mean specifically in Macedonia or just NGOs in general?
You can speak about Macedonia and then you can speak about NGOs in general.
hmm So I think the biggest issue with this country that this country is facing is a lack of hope. I think
Mm,
a lot of the youth see this country as a hopeless place in a sense, and where they see all the issues with their country, but they don't believe anything can or will actually be done to fix those issues or to change the country. That's something, obviously I've spoken with a lot of young people about this since I've been here. And I find that the general consensus is that there's no point because we just can't do anything to change it because the system is so broken and there's no way to fix it. So I
mm,
think that the important thing is, and this is what NGOs in general, I think, do specifically. I think NGOs are the types of organizations that can reinstate hope
mm,
and passion and desire to make change
mm,
through the various types of work that they do.
mm,
Um, so I think the more NGOs, the better,
mm,
as long as they're doing good work.
mm,
But I think NGOs are unique in this ability to inspire that a corporation or a for-profit business is never going to be able to achieve something like that.
mm,
That being said, there can be some issues with NGOs also. There's undeniably an issue with corruption. Again, when it comes to nonprofits, again, this isn't just Macedonia now, this is the whole world. By nature of running an organization that is not meant to make money, it's not meant to pay a lot or instill wealth. Um, there's going to be corruption. There's going to be people, even with good intentions, that are working, doing nonprofit work, that sometimes you just have to get by. Obviously, those are certain cases. There are other cases where the corruption is pretty blatant and um, in your face and
mm.
bad. Um, so I think I don't have an answer on how to tackle such an issue. Obviously, it's widespread.
Mm.
But I think the pure altruistic nonprofits um, really have to work to inspire, especially the younger generations.
What I understand is based on my experience, and also we have a very diverse collective experience, both of us combined.
hmm
Based on my experience, to for NGOs suggestion would be, if you do turn into a for-profit, under the table for-profit institution, what
Yeah.
will happen is that your sustainability will be hindered.
hmm
Uh,
How do you
the
see how do you see that? Can
sustainability will
you
be hindered because is that you won't be implement projects, and when you won't be able to implement projects, that's when the trust that you have from donors, from the public also, it will deplete.
hmm
You're applying for a grant, you won't be able to show active field presence. The public
Yeah.
will not trust you. This is, I agree with you when you say this. It's a unique relationship NGOs have with the people. Is if you're connected to the people, if your ground presence with the people, for example, the youth center
Yeah.
uh, at our site, the youth, it's always there for the youth, and youth are always there. Maybe the numbers are low, but they are there.
Yeah.
So there is presence of the youth. If you are working on a community development, an organization, you have to have presence on the public. The public need to know you first.
Yeah.
And then I think when we can gain that trust, that's when we can have
That's
a
when the
solid
best work
ground.
is done.
Yes, that's when the best work. And even if there is no funding, you will be able to gain support from the local community that will make the magic happen.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's all around the world. It has become an issue. NGOs are out of funds. They have, and a lot of them, based on my personal experience also, and as you shared, is they are unable to present themselves in a proper way. Sometimes they can't afford people doing
Hmm.
their outreach. But the first thing is you just be there. You know, you are there as an individual, hand out flyers for your organization. Let people know that this organization exists. It's for the people.
Yeah, it's all about visibility. It's
It's all
about
about
becoming
visibility.
known.
Yes. And what are you, this will be the second last question. What are you most proud of from your service here?
I would say I am probably most proud of the network that I've been able to build here. Um, Socially and work-wise, I have surrounded myself with truly good people on both sides of the coin. And I am proud that I feel like I've had an impact on this community. I feel like I've had a genuine impact in the time I've been here, both through, work-related events and activities and workshops, and also just going out into the city at night and, running into someone I know basically every 5 minutes, if not less, and just having a quick chat. And I truly feel like I am a part of this community. Even here as a foreigner, I feel like I've really dug myself in and I feel like I really belong here. And I think the people around me also feel that way about my presence here. I would say that's what I'm most proud of. You're muted.
I apologize. As an American, what is your message to the world? That will be the last question.
Okay. Um, Let me think for a second. As an American, I have to answer. Uh,
We represent the United States of America, so
yes. I would say as an American, my message to the world would be that, I mean, I guess I kind of touched upon it before, that we're all just humans, um, and that you might have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of our country, and I can understand both perspectives. I understand why. Um, but I would say the most important thing is to not judge the actual people, the day-to-day people of a country, um, and to seek out and fully understand someone else's position, um, and just to try and connect with people, regardless of which country they're from or what language they speak. There are ways to connect with people, even if you don't speak their language, as I think we've both learned.
even
And I
from our
think,
own community, right?
yeah,
Even from
yeah,
the local community.
yeah. And I think that's the most important thing is we're all looking for connection. No one wants to be alone. And so view yourself, and I think a lot of Americans could benefit from this advice also. But think of yourself as a human first, and then a countryman second, I guess. Humanity comes first. That's the advice. That's the goal.
Perfect. Jack, Jack Molitor, thank you very, very much for your time. I really do appreciate, as you said, you came back from home, you took the time,
Yeah,
and I hope our audience listens and learns from your
I hope so
experience.
too. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, Jack, thank you very
Bye.
much. Have a good night. All
Fala.
right, folks, thank you very
Ciao.
much. I'll see you
Goodbye.
again. I'll see you again on a new episode, folks. Thank you. Good night.